These images from NASA give you a glimpse of what's in the works for future space travel.
The purpose of this test is engineers are determining how much pressure the habitat can actually withstand.
Rebecca Wicks with NASA says inflatable habitats similar to this will be tested Saturday morning.
It will produce a very loud boom, which might actually sound like a small explosion to people.
So what can you expect?
Like a atomic bomb, yeah.
A bomb, probably, or like maybe a liftoff.
Close, but not quite. Wicks says the explosion, expected to be around 140 decibels, will sound similar to this. Wicks says the prototypes are being tested for missions after NASA's Artemis 3 moon mission.
We began with a series of loud explosions caught on camera across the San Gabriel Valley last night.
But whatever it was remains a mystery tonight.
Well, those explosions were so loud they woke some people up. Others say they actually shook their homes. But so far, no one out there is taking credit for causing them. Daniel Racino's caught it on his security camera. A bright flash in the middle of 3 loud blasts.
I woke up and I just thought to myself, like, what's going on? Like, is there explosions outside?
He says the explosive sounds woke his family up from a dead sleep. And it wasn't just heard in this neighborhood in Baldwin Park.
It was heard from multiple cities around the area.
But all over the San Gabriel Valley. In Covina, El Monte, Pomona, and Azusa, we called police and fire departments, city managers, electric and gas companies all over the place. And none of them seem to know what caused these mysterious explosions that lit up the night sky at about 10:30 Monday night.
I've heard so many different stories, from the Chinese spy balloon to just fireworks, you know, but
there's another theory out there, and it's dynamite.
It's normal when you hear a bang outside. It's bam, it's got to be Vulcan.
Jerry lives in Azusa, where she says she hears similar blasts all the time coming from this nearby rock quarry. She says she even once spearheaded a campaign to put a stop to all the noise. But a worker here told us it wasn't them blowing rocks up last night.
I think that's not nice. You know, it just wakes up young children. Kids are going to school. People are going to work.
Daniel also has a couple rock quarries near his home. Off camera, another worker told us they think one of those other rock companies may have caused the explosions, and that sometimes they do it later in the evening for safety reasons.
it's a little scary not knowing where these things come from, what it can be, you know. Everybody wants answers.
It is a story that had many of you chiming in online. Stone Oak neighbors trying to figure out the noise that's keeping them up at night.
Inspired by a post on Nextdoor last week, we began our investigation. What loud booms are puzzling neighbors in Stone Oak? It wasn't fireworks at Fiesta, Texas. It wasn't military training at Camp Bullis, nor was it a quarry southwest of Stone Oak. Following our first report, many of you had the same theory. You said check with the Texas Department of Transportation because the construction along 1604 could be to blame.
This is Alicia Nieves calling with KENS 5.
So we did.
Those noises that are being heard in Stone Oak.
TxDOT says right now the Loop 1604 North Expansion project is underway from Bandera Road to 281. Crews are expanding the highway from 4 lanes to 10, including an HOV lane in each direction and an updated interchange at 1604 and I-10. The sounds neighbors are hearing this week are likely workers blasting for the highway expansion from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And TxDOT says prepare for more similar boom sounds during the night. They say excavation will continue beginning Sunday through next Friday.
People from half a dozen counties in south central Indiana heard the boom. It was captured around 12:45 on a camera at a fire department in Nineveh. An auto body shop in Bloomington caught it on its cameras as well.
Normally, with Atterbury, we hear a lot of noise. Yeah. But we don't necessarily hear anything that loud.
Initially, many chalked it up to some activity at nearby Camp Atterbury.
No, it just sounded like a cannon.
But the Indiana National Guard said it wasn't them.
It kind of sounded like a gunshot.
The cause of the noise remains a mystery, but Brandon Johnson, a planetary scientist at Purdue University, says he thinks it could be what's called an airburst.
Which is essentially when a meteor is entering the atmosphere, it will essentially explode in the atmosphere, and it can make, a loud boom.
A large airburst happened in the skies over Russia in 2013. That meteor lit up the sky, and the blast shattered windows in nearby cities.
If there was enough cloud cover, it's possible that no one saw it, but it still did occur above the clouds.
Seismologists at Indiana University picked up what they're calling a significant pulse of seismic energy around 12:44 yesterday afternoon. The American Meteor Society also took 2 reports of meteor sightings, one in Columbus, the other in Bloomington. Based on the reports, they were able to triangulate the impacted location and said it was likely a fireball meteor. Johnson said it's a good reminder that a lot happens out in space.
It's a reminder.
Noises that go bump in the night don't often get you.
It's a loud boom, boom, boom.
But they sure can startle and frustrate you.
You would think it was like the 4th of July every other night.
Dawn Washington lives near Bell Rock Memorial Park in Malden with her 2 grandkids. These loud, unidentified booms can be heard between the park and the Malden-Everett line.
And sometimes you think it's like maybe a tire backfiring or something like that, but how many backfired tires happen in a week?
Another neighbor at the park told me she turned her TV off last night, fearing she heard gunshots. Even more people are complaining about it on social media. It's super annoying, especially with a dog and a baby. If everyone is hearing it, why aren't police stopping it?
The past, 7, 8, 9 days, I see no record of any responses to that area for loud noises.
Malden Police Chief Glenn Cronin says all too often people turn to social media before contacting law enforcement.
A lot of folks don't want to call 911. They don't think it's that important, but it's important for us to know.
The chief reached out to his patrol officers this afternoon and spoke with a neighbor who heard that loud noise last night.
I don't know if there's any way I can connect with the folks that are hearing it, because I'd love to talk to them, find out exactly where they are.
If they were gunshots, the chief would expect more calls. If it were fireworks.
Typically, someone's going to light fireworks off and then they disappear.
Unless spotted by a neighbor.
I would like it to stop for the people that it does bother and the children that it does wake up.
In Malden.
In Louisville, and there was just now 2 huge explosions.
From Forsyth County.
We're all out here. The whole neighborhood felt 2 large booms.
To Guilford, Rockingham.
Kaboom!
And even Randolph County.
The 4th time, I was like, oh my Lord, it shook my whole fireplace sitting beside of me. It rattled it. Rattled the fireplace.
A series of loud booms broke the Saturday night silence, and then again on Sunday afternoon.
I didn't hear about Saturday booms until I started making the post, and somebody had said they were hearing it in that area yesterday. They could hear it as well. Like it actually rattled the dishes.
The mystery sound shocked a lot of people across the triad.
I just assumed, that it was either a tannerite or something else.
As they tried to guess what those noises could be.
My thinking it was military doing maneuvers. I really do think that.
So some of the theories I've heard is a construction noise, maybe a meteor, maybe some, just a whole host of things. Firecrackers, fireworks.
Even the experts don't have a concrete explanation. Dan Lyons works with the National Weather Service in Raleigh. They tried to piece together the puzzle too.
We weren't able to see any showers, thunderstorms, or anything of that nature in that area. No earthquakes in that area.
But Lyons was able to explain why people more than 60 miles away heard and felt the same thing.
The temperature in the atmosphere, normally it gets colder as you go up, but in this case, the temperature actually gets warmer as you go higher up.
When these temperature inversions happen, it sets up the atmosphere for noise to travel further.
The atmosphere was set up such that if there were a noise, more people would be able to hear it than they might otherwise.
It's profoundly annoying.
As you hear the noise, it's hard to make out what it is.
It sounds like somebody putting their finger on a glass cup and running it around the top of the cup.
It sounds very much like a resonance, a harmonic resonance, like if you can picture someone rubbing the top of a crystal glass or a tuning fork.
What does it sound? Mo Hussein, he took video walking home one night. He's noticed the sound for over a year.
I liken it to like some sort of alien invasion. As you're walking around, even in the middle of the night, you hear this hum off in the background and you wonder what could that be?
You know, I thought about that. And they're only landing in the middle of the night.
For Adrena Banks, her theory, it's construction related, but admits it could be anything.
It's just this consistent humming that doesn't seem to go away and goes on for hours. It's so piercing that it keeps you up.
Neighbors called 311, but when the city's Department of Environmental Protection showed up, the sound had stopped. We reached out to the DEP several times on Thursday, and they now say they plan to return to try and find the source of the nuisance.
As soon as you think, okay, well, now I've gotten used to it, now I'm ready to live my life with this noise, then it goes away. And you're like, oh, that's great, and then it comes back.
The timing of it makes me sort of believe that, at times anyway, makes me sort of believe that there's some sort of equipment being run, and they sort of try to turn it off and on in ways that don't disrupt people.
Some residents, they've turned to online forums to mark when the noise starts and stops, but tracking it isn't easy.
Like bass notes they disperse easily, but they're hard to pinpoint. And this sound has that quality of like, ooh, that's really hard to locate.
So far, no confirmation on what may have caused that loud boom. Now, we received reports of people feeling or hearing the boom from more than 40 cities and towns across southern and central New Hampshire, from Keene to Farmington. People also say they felt it in northern Massachusetts, even on Cape Cod and up in eastern Maine. Now, neither the Weston Observatory or the U.S. Geological Survey has reported any earthquakes in New Hampshire on Sunday. The New Hampshire Department of Safety tells us they've been in contact with the FAA Regional Operations Center, who says there was no military plane activity over the state this morning either. Viewers from across the region described to us what they heard and felt.
A little after 11:30, we heard a really loud boom and a really subtle shake, to the point where I thought either my husband had dropped something out in the garage or he had thought that I had dropped something in the house.
The first thing was a huge thump, like a very heavy person landed on their heels on our second floor. We called up to our son on the second floor. He immediately replied, "Wasn't me."
All of a sudden, this huge boom, sounded like something huge fell in the house somewhere.
Now, there have been a couple of local fire departments that made posts on social media saying it was an earthquake. But again, WMUR reached out to the National Earthquake Center in Golden, Colorado. They checked their seismographs for the New Hampshire area Sunday morning, and they told us they didn't see anything that looked like an earthquake. So
now, to a strange scene in northern Utah on Saturday, captured on camera, that had a lot of people asking, what is that up there? Look at this. A streak showed up, followed by this loud boom. Utah's Governor Spencer Cox tweeted he also heard this noise when he was out for a run in Salt Lake City, and that officials confirmed it was not seismic, it was not military. The best guess is that it was some kind of meteor.
What was that?
Police say they don't know what caused the explosion sound that shook the town of Mount Juliet late Monday night.
I thought it was like a big explosion of some sort.
Amber Riggs says she was woken up by that loud boom around 10:30 Monday night. She jumped out of bed and her dog started barking.
They'll ignore fireworks and any other boom, but this one they knew was different.
She described the sound as a big echo and deep groan. At first, she thought it was just an electrical transformer blowing, but she couldn't put her finger on a specific sound.
I don't know. I've never heard anything like it.
I didn't have any idea what, might have been the noise, other than, again, the fireworks going off.
Thomas Mata says he was sitting on his back porch with his puppy Max when the explosion happened. Max jerked his head at the noise and alerted Thomas.
We didn't think much of it, but definitely probably heard what was the mysterious explosion.
Beyond the fireworks, he thinks it could have been a gas tank blowing up.
It's of concern when anything out of the ordinary, happens.
Based on this other security video Mount Juliet police posted showing a flash before the bang, Amber thinks it could have been a meteorite burning up in the atmosphere.
I mean, I looked outside and I didn't see flames or smoke or neighbors running or, anything weird. So I didn't worry about it.
Our top story today, many people say they woke up to a loud, inexplicable noise. Reports of it were confirmed by the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency along with Claiborne County. So what was it? Well,
the boom was loud and it has a lot of people talking. And just a few minutes ago, 12 News confirmed that a fireball caused the noise. The reports came out just after 8 o'clock this morning. NEMA confirmed with NASA that it was a fireball that caused the noise. No injuries have been reported, including no structural damage, but people in the Claiborne County area describe what they saw.
I was sitting in the truck. I was at the grocery store here in Port Gibson at M&M, and I could see the windows vibrating. I was like, "Ooh, they fighting inside." So I didn't get out the truck. I said, "I'll go wait till they come out." So when she came out with the bug, I was like, it must be okay. So when I walked in, she said, "Person, did you hear the boom?" I said, "No, I didn't hear the boom, but I seen the windows shaking."
Gordon Station Road was a part. Alcorn State University was patrolled. Hermanville was patrolled. Just different areas of Claiborne County. Grand Gulf area was patrolled also to ensure that it had nothing to do with the nuclear plant.
That is it right there. Again, that sound heard from Orlando over to Tampa. Look at that timestamp up on the top left. A lot of people saying they heard it around 5:17. There it goes again. And this is a camera from the backyard in East Orlando of Matthew H., who on Twitter is the UCF Knight. As we get some...
This is what Asa Schlobel's weather camera caught in Molina, Florida this morning. And then the messages started rolling in. Some of you sending Fox 10 News this. Sonic boom or earthquake. I'm in Foley and I'm seeing reports from Robertsdale, Alberta, Lillian, all feeling it as well. Whole house shook 3 times. Triple sonic boom really shook house. Felt boom in Rosington community. Y'all felt that earthquake? What's going on? Well, no, it wasn't an earthquake. If it was, it would have shown up on the United States Geological Survey. And as you can see here, nothing to show in our area today. A sonic boom is when an object moves faster than the speed of sound. A military jet can cause it. Tonight, we reached out to our local bases, but haven't heard back.
At this strip mall in Oakland, New Jersey, Michael Mikulich was getting into his car Wednesday afternoon when something didn't seem right.
That's when I heard the boom.
His service dog was by his side.
She kind of put her ears back and looked at me like, whoa, what was that?
This Franklin Lakes resident says her daughter called her frightened.
Well, she was sitting in her room and she said she heard the lamp shake and she felt the house kind of move a little bit and she didn't know what was going on.
The loud boom and vibration heard across northern New Jersey at around 12:30 Wednesday. Hundreds of residents posting comments on this volcano discovery forum. One person saying, "Heard a loud noise that made us literally search the horizon for a mushroom cloud. We thought we were being bombed." Some questioning if the sound came from a quarry in Riverdale, just off of Route 287, or the one in Mount Hope.
And there's explosions going on all the time.
We've learned there was no activity at the Riverdale quarry. Others wondering if the rumbling came from the Picatinny Arsenal, the U.S. Army research base in Rockaway Township. A spokesperson tells us their only activity was at 2:30 that afternoon when they disposed of munitions. The U.S. Geological Survey said it wasn't an earthquake either.
Temperature inversion, sonic booms, weather conditions. There's always the possibility that it could be something from an old skunk works thing where the military has black ops, and it could be something they're working on, experimental.
Back in 2016, a loud rumbling heard in southern New Jersey turned out to be not from the ground, but a fighter jet on a naval exercise that caused a sonic boom.